Am I the asshole for telling my daughter-in-law she's not a mother? I'm a 64-year-old mom of 3, all married, and this story's about my son and his wife, Jenny. Jenny's been struggling with infertility, which I know is tough, and she's childless. My other son's wife is expecting a baby next month, and my daughter just welcomed my first grandson. Mother's Day rolled around, and everyone was too busy starting their own families to meet up, which I totally get. Wanting to do something sweet, I sent Mother's Day baskets to my expecting daughter-in-law and my daughter, filled with pampering goodies like scented candles, chocolates, and cozy slippers. I figured it'd make them feel special as new or soon-to-be moms. Jenny's always called her 2 dogs the first grandkids, which I thought was just her joking around. She's super into being a dog mom, posting their antics online and throwing them birthday parties. My daughter shared a photo in our family group chat, showing off her Mother's Day basket, and my other daughter-in-law thanked me in the chat too. Then Jenny called, her voice sharp, asking why she didn't get a basket. I was thrown off, thinking maybe she was hinting at a pregnancy. But no, she meant her dogs. She insisted they're her kids, so she deserved a basket as their mom. I tried to stay calm, but I was baffled. I told her Mother's Day is for women raising human children, not pets. I didn't mean to hurt her, but I couldn't wrap my head around equating dogs to kids. Jenny exploded, cursing me out, saying she's a parent and I was cruel for excluding her. She hung up, and soon my son called, saying I was a jerk for not sending Jenny a basket and dismissing her feelings. He wants me to apologize and send one now, but I'm not sure I should. Jenny's pain over infertility must be real, and I feel for her. Maybe she clings to her dogs to cope, and I get that pets can feel like family. But calling herself a mother in the same way as my daughter, who's juggling a newborn, or my other daughter-in-law who's about to give birth, feels like a stretch to me. I didn't send the baskets to snub Jenny. I just didn't think of her dogs as qualifying for Mother's Day. My son says I'm being insensitive, and Jenny's been distant since, not joining family calls. I'm wondering if I was too harsh or if I should have just humored her. On one hand, I think Mother's Day has a specific meaning, celebrating the sacrifices and joys of raising kids. I've been a mom for decades, and it's no small feat. Jenny's dogs, as cute as they are, don't require the same emotional, financial, or physical toll. But on the other hand, I didn't mean to make her feel less than. Maybe I could have been gentler, saying I hadn't thought to include her instead of flat out saying she's not a mother. The family's split. My daughter thinks Jenny's overreacting, but my son's adamant I owe her an apology. I'm stuck wondering if I'm missing something about how she sees her role with her pets. This whole mess has me second-guessing. Should I have just sent her a basket to keep the peace? Or was I right to draw a line? It's tricky when feelings run so high, especially with something as personal as motherhood. I don't want to dismiss Jenny's emotions, but I also don't think I'm wrong for seeing things differently. Maybe there's a middle ground I'm not seeing. Am I the asshole for telling Jenny she's not a mother? Am I the asshole for not letting my coworker crash at my place? I'm a 23-year-old woman, and I've worked hard to carve out my own little sanctuary, a 2-bedroom house I live in alone. One room's my bedroom, the other's my everything room, office, closet, storage, and sometimes just a spot to lie on the floor and stare at the ceiling when life gets heavy. It's not a guest room, and I'm fierce about keeping it that way. After years of nightmare roommates, think dishes piled high and late-night arguments, I saved up to afford this place. It's my safe bubble, where I can breathe without anyone else's chaos. At work, I'm friendly with a 25-year-old coworker, but we're not close. We chat during lunch breaks, maybe gripe about our boss, but that's it. We've never hung out outside work. Recently, she got into a huge fight with her roommates, and they kicked her out. She was venting at work, and I felt bad. I said, "That sucks," and even sent her links to some rental listings, trying to be helpful without getting too involved. I've learned the hard way that sympathy can sometimes invite trouble. That night, she texted me, "Hey, can I crash with you for a few weeks since you live alone and have the space?" My stomach dropped. No way, I barely know her. The idea of someone I'm not close with invading my home made my skin crawl. I pictured awkward small talk, her stuff everywhere, and my quiet evenings ruined. I replied politely, "I totally get you're in a tough spot, but I really value my space and can't have anyone stay with me." I thought I was clear and kind, avoiding any drama. The next day, she was cold at work. Then another coworker told me she'd been saying I let her be homeless when I have an entire room to myself. Excuse me? First, she's not homeless, she's staying with her boyfriend. Second, I pay good money to live alone. That's the whole point. I don't want to tiptoe around a near stranger or deal with just a few weeks turning into months of excuses. I've been there before, stuck with roommates who overstay their welcome, and I'm not signing up for that again. Now some coworkers are giving me side-eye, acting like I'm heartless. I feel a twinge of guilt, she's in a rough spot. But I also know my boundaries matter. I don't owe her my home just because I have space. It's not like we're best friends or she has nowhere else to go. I keep thinking about how uncomfortable I'd feel, always on edge in my own house. And what if she brought drama from her roommate fight into my life? No, thank you. The kicker? I heard she ended up in jail. Don't know why, but I couldn't help but laugh when I found out. It sounds awful, but it felt like the universe saying, good call. Still, the office gossips got me second guessing. Maybe I could have offered her a night or two, but that risks opening the door to more. I've seen temporary turn into permanent too many times. My home's my sanctuary, and I don't want to feel tense in it. But the judgment from coworkers stings, making me wonder if I'm being too harsh. I keep replaying her text, the entitlement of assuming she could move in. We're not even friends. I get that she was desperate, but why is it my job to fix her mess? Someone at work even said I should have helped because it's the right thing to do. But is it? I'm not her family or her lifeline. I just want to protect my peace. Am I the asshole for not letting my coworker stay at my place? Am I the asshole for hiding my expensive shampoo and conditioner from my friend's guest? I'm a 28-year-old woman sharing an apartment with my 34-year-old guy friend. We split rent and get along fine, but last weekend, things got messy. While we were both out of town, he let his friend Sarah stay over. I got back to find my pricey shampoo and conditioner, stuff I splurged on to treat myself, nearly gone. We're talking high-end salon bottles, not cheap drugstore stuff, and I don't make nearly as much as my roommate. Sarah used them without asking, which left me fuming. I didn't say anything then, figuring it was a one-time thing, but it stung. Fast forward to this weekend, Sarah was back, visiting before a dance class. She asked to shower at our place, and I was ready this time. I'd moved my fancy products to my bedroom, leaving only my roommate's basic shampoo in the bathroom. Sarah noticed the missing conditioner and asked him about it. He came to my room looking annoyed and asked why I hid my stuff. I told him straight up, she's his guest, not mine, and I'm not running a spa for her. I worked hard for those products, and I don't want them used without permission. He called me rude and petty, saying I should have just shared. Now I'm wondering if I overreacted. I get that sharing's nice, but this isn't about being stingy. It's about respect. Those products cost me a chunk of my budget, and I'm not rolling in cash like my roommate. Sarah didn't even ask the first time, she just helped herself. I felt violated, like my personal stuff wasn't mine anymore. Hiding them seemed like the only way to protect what's mine. I don't know Sarah well, she's his friend, not mine, and I don't feel obligated to supply her with luxury hair care. If she needed conditioner, she could have brought her own or used what was there. My roommate thinks I made a big deal out of nothing, but I disagree. It's not just shampoo, it's the principle. If I let this slide, what's next? Her raiding my skincare stash? I've had roommates before who borrowed stuff and never replaced it, so I'm extra cautious now. I even checked the bottles after she left last time, half empty after one weekend. I can't afford to keep restocking for someone I barely know. Plus, my roommate didn't offer to replace anything. He just expected me to be okay with it. On the flip side, I wonder if I could have handled it better. Maybe I should have talked to Sarah directly or told my roommate up front that I wasn't cool with her using my stuff. Hiding things feels a bit passive-aggressive, but confronting her in the moment felt awkward, especially since she's not my guest. My roommate's mad, saying I embarrassed him in front of Sarah, but I think he's the one who dropped the ball by not setting boundaries with her. It's his friend, his responsibility, right? The tension's lingering, he's been short with me, and I'm stuck feeling like the bad guy for protecting my stuff. But I also know I'd be livid if it happened again. I showed him where to buy the products, and he's since apologized and ordered new bottles for everyone to use, which is great. Still, I can't shake the feeling that I might have come off as petty. Was I wrong to draw such a hard line? I just wanted to keep what's mine. Mine. Am I the asshole for hiding my expensive shampoo and conditioner? Am I the asshole for not leaving my estate to my severely disabled brother? I'm a 33-year-old woman staring down a terminal diagnosis, with maybe a couple of years left before my condition steals my ability to make decisions. It's the same illness that took my dad when I was 12. He left me a trust managed by my grandparents from his successful career and wealthy family. My mom, who was never married to my dad, later married and had my half-brother, now 26, who's severely mentally disabled, functioning like a 7-year-old in an adult's body. Caring for him is a full-time struggle for my mom and stepdad, who barely scrape by. They've always eyed my trust, trying to control it when I lived with them, but they couldn't. I help them out financially when things get dire, but our relationship's strained. My mom treats me more like an ATM than a daughter, and my stepdad's bitter about my dad's wealth. Since my diagnosis, I've been working with a lawyer and a social worker to plan my end-of-life wishes. I've also tried reconnecting with my mom, hoping to mend things before I'm gone. She's been kinder since the news, so I opened up about my plans, explaining I've chosen another family member as my medical and financial power of attorney to spare her the burden. She was grateful, but then said she always hoped I'd ensure my brother's care after she's gone, implying my estate could fund it, so he'd know his big sister provided for him. Here's where I might be the jerk. I'm not leaving anything to my mom or brother. Instead, my estate, whatever's left after my care, is going to my best friend's 2 kids, who I've been a devoted auntie to their whole lives. They're my joy, and my best friend and her husband have been my rock, driving me to appointments and letting me crash at their place when I'm too sick to be alone. I want the kids to have it for college. I know my money could ease my mom's load and secure better care for my brother, but I don't feel that obligation. I barely know my brother. I met him after my dad died, and the 6 years I lived with them were tough. His behavior was unpredictable, sometimes scary. I haven't seen him in 15 years, and he likely doesn't even know I exist. I care about his well-being like I would any strangers, but there's no bond. I've already given my mom plenty to help with his care, so I feel he's had his share indirectly. My mom's family could step up if they chose to. Meanwhile, I'm tired of her guilt trips and passive-aggressive comments about my money. I'm starting to think I should let go of hoping for a better relationship with her. I've got a solid team, lawyer, financial advisor, executor, locking down my estate plans. A social worker offered family counseling, which I might try to see if my mom's intentions are genuine or just about the money. But with time running out, I don't want to chase a fantasy of family unity. My heart's with those kids who've brought me light in dark times. Still, I wonder if I'm selfish for not helping my brother, whose needs are so great. It's a heavy choice knowing my mom's counting on me to secure his future, but I want my legacy to go where I feel love. Am I the asshole for not leaving my estate to my brother? Am I the asshole for telling my brother he has to buy my half of our inherited home? I'm a 49-year-old woman, and my brother, 51, has been living in our dad's childhood home, which we both inherited after our parents passed recently. Growing up, that house was a hub. My siblings, friends, and I all lived there at some point. But we always paid rent, bills, and property taxes. Not my brother. He's lived there his whole life, except for 7 years when he was married, and never paid a dime to our dad. He's got a well-paying job, but our mom managed his money, treating him like a spoiled kid. Now that the house is ours, I'm done footing the bill for his free ride. The house is a cozy 2-story place in a quiet neighborhood, worth a decent amount. I've got my own mortgage, kids, and expenses, so I can't afford to cover his share of the property taxes or upkeep. When I told him he needs to buy my half of the house if he wants to keep living there, he lost it. He called me selfish, saying, "Why should I pay you for something I got for free?" I was floored. Free? He's been mooching for decades. I told him I'm not his landlord, and if he wants the house, he needs to pay me out. He stormed off, and now he's barely speaking to me. I get that the house holds memories for him. It's where we grew up, where Dad taught us to ride bikes in the driveway. But I've got my own life to manage, and it's not fair for me to subsidize his. I checked with a lawyer, and splitting the estate is straightforward. Either he buys me out, or we sell and split the proceeds. I'd rather not sell, it's our family home, but I can't keep paying for a place I don't live in. He's acting like I'm robbing him, but I'm just asking for what's mine. Part of me wonders if I'm being too hard on him. He's used to Mom coddling him, and maybe losing the house feels like losing her all over again. But I've got my own grief to deal with, and I can't carry his weight too. He's not broke. He could afford to buy me out or at least pay his share of the taxes. I even offered to work out a payment plan, but he just sulked, saying I'm tearing the family apart. Our other siblings are staying out of it, which makes me feel like I'm the bad guy here. I keep thinking about all the times I paid my way in that house while he skated by. It's not just about money, it's about fairness. I don't want to kick him out, but I can't keep bankrolling his life. If he doesn't buy me out, selling might be my only option, and that'd break my heart too. The house is full of memories. Mom's garden, Dad's old toolbox in the garage. But I can't let sentiment keep me stuck. Still, his tantrum makes me question if I'm being too cold. Should I give him more time to adjust, or am I right to put my foot down? This whole mess has me sleepless. I just want what's fair, but maybe I'm missing his side. He's acting like I'm betraying him, but I feel like he's the one taking advantage. I don't know how to move forward without this tearing us apart for good. Am I the asshole for telling my brother he has to buy my half of the house? Am I the asshole for not letting my in-laws keep being late for everything? I've been married for 16 years, and my in-laws have never been on time for anything. Not just a few minutes late, try 20, 30, sometimes even 45 minutes with no heads up. It's like they live in their own time zone. My teens and I have waited around for countless dinners, birthdays, and holidays, twiddling our thumbs while they stroll in without a care. It's not just annoying, it feels disrespectful, like our time doesn't matter. I've tried gentle reminders, but nothing changes. My spouse shrugs it off, saying, "That's just how they are, but I'm done accepting it." Take Halloween, for example. They were supposed to arrive at 6:30 to go trick-or-treating with my kids, who are teens and had plans with friends, but canceled to spend time with their grandparents. By 7:15, no sign of them. We called and they said, "Oh, we're 5 minutes away." 22 minutes later, they showed up, acting like it was no big deal. My kids were bummed and I was fuming. That was the last straw. I made a new rule, the 5-minute rule. If you're not where you said you'd be within 5 minutes, we're done waiting. We'll start without you, eating, leaving, whatever. No more wasting our time. The rule got tested recently. They planned to take my kids out for dinner, saying they'd be at our house at 7:00. I reminded them of the 5-minute rule in a call at 2 hour that afternoon, just to be clear. By 7:05, no in-laws, no call, nothing. I phoned them and they said, "We're 10 minutes away." I told them not to bother coming. Dinner was off. They begged for another chance, saying they live an hour away and traffic was bad, but I stuck to my guns. I said their pattern of lateness shows they don't value our time and I'm not bending anymore. They got upset, calling me rigid, and my spouse thinks I was too harsh, especially since the kids missed out on dinner with their grandparents. I get that life happens, traffic, unexpected delays, but never calling to warn us. That's just careless. My kids rearranged their schedules, and I cleared my evening, only to sit around waiting again. It's not about one dinner, it's years of this. I've tried talking to them before, suggesting they leave earlier or text if they're running late, but they brush it off. I'm tired of feeling like a doormat. The 5-minute rule isn't about being petty, it's about teaching them our time matters. My kids deserve to know their plans won't be derailed by someone else's bad habits. Still, I wonder if I went too far. Canceling dinner felt good in the moment, but my kids were disappointed, and now my in-laws are acting like I'm the bad guy. My spouse says I should have given them a pass since they were only 10 minutes out. But where's the line? If I let 10 minutes slide, then it's 20, then 30 again. I don't want to strain family ties, but I also don't want to keep enabling this. Maybe I could have waited a bit longer or just ordered food and let them join late, but that feels like caving. I want them to respect our time, but maybe I'm pushing too hard for a family that's just chronically late. This whole thing's got me second-guessing. I just want my family to feel valued, but maybe I'm coming off as unforgiving. Should I loosen up, or is it fair to hold this boundary? Am I the asshole for enforcing the 5-minute rule with my in-laws?